episode of Style by Stevie. It is Motivation Monday, March 23rd, and welcome to an all new show today. We are here with recording artist T Bishop. How are you doing? And Happy New Year, all of that good stuff. How has 2026 been for you thus far?
We're moving. We running at a good pace and we here now. So that's all that matters.
Yes, 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 yes. So before we get into this interview, let's dive right in. Let's start at the beginning of your journey. Tell us a little bit about you and how you got your start in the music business.
Um so I'd say probably around I first start off I grew up around the Chicagoland area, so I'm coming out from Illinois and probably since about 2016 I've been pushing music for real and doing it at a optimal base where I'm using it with business and not just taking it where I'm just putting out songs and small stuff like that. And then officially putting my stuff everywhere and then taking it official to where I feel like I'm trying to go play big ball with everybody 2020ish. So it's been a good almost about to be 6 year run where I've been just trying to get my head in the game, put my foot in the door. So and
And
then altogether, if you want to call it 10 years, 10 years altogether where I've been grinding.
shout outs to my beautiful mods. Hey Chef Sky, hey girl. Shout outs to my brother K Tukes, host of the K Tukes Spot. Make sure you guys please go and subscribe to his channel. And speaking of collaborations, you are signed under my girl, Stephanie. Shout outs to my girl Stephanie West, Boss Lady Management. You are working with her. So how did the collaboration come to be? Looking good, Stevie. Thank you. I had to channel my inner Jessica Rabbit for today.
um, yeah, that's I call her Mama Bear. That's somebody who gratefully through the artist swag 2 times. That's a good friend of mine also. Damn near my or almost my like a brother because we been grinding probably since 2021. I met him at a festival around here in the Chicagoland area, and we've been clicked up ever since. And then he was under her branch for about I say like maybe 2.5 maybe years. And I seen what she did with him, and
Wow.
he was really big up in me in the shadows. I didn't know anything about it until recently when he came up to me and said something like, "Hey man, I've been trying to get you over here." So during a show, because I'm constantly doing shows with like around them with them, so it's almost like you put your face out there, you gonna get something, you know. And that's what I
Salute.
did, put in the work, and she just constantly seen me. The first time she seen me was like earlier last year, not the very first time, but like actually came up and said something to me was early last year. And then she was with a whole nother publishing company, so we kind of had small talks. Then I kind of put myself in the door and then put myself on a little sit down for a little while for the year and didn't really talk too much when I should have been opening my mouth. I could have had opportunities. So around the end of the year, around November, I believe, we had another show come up and she saw me and we had the same conversation we had earlier that year. And when things happen twice, it's almost not coincidence, you know? So I looked at it as good opportunity and now we're here and she's been like I said, that's Mama Bear. She's been making sure I'm on everything that I need to be on.
And speaking of Stephanie, you guys know that March is International Women's History Month. And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask. I'm curious to know. I know she's one of the women. You said Mama Bear, and that she is. I remember when I sat down with her because she also works, with the prisoners, and she's just like, helping them try to get on the right page. She is very protective. So shout outs to my girl, Stephanie. Are there any other women who have been an amazing influence in your life because you're an amazing artist. I've listened to some of your music while I was in the chair getting my hair and makeup done. And I'm like, wow, this is the type of music that my brother listens to. But I also have a very eclectic ear for sound. My brother K Tukes can vouch for that as well too. Like I love hip hop, but I also love jazz and I love my R&B as well too. So the ear always changes up. So who've been the women who influenced you in your life growing up as an artist and as a man?
I have to obviously every time. First of all, my OG, my mother, um, Gisela Sanchez. Um, then after that, my right hand, soon to be mother of my child, and then right now I'll give it to boss lady. So I just been making sure moving at pace, and keeping everybody at hand and anybody that wants to contribute and make sure that the success path that we got going on is on an upward forward movement. That's what they do. So nothing gets left behind or nothing gets if I'm in the wrong place or if I'm in the wrong pathway as far as headspace, they're the ones to make sure that I'm good. So I can't ever complain, and I can always be gracious, and I thank God every day for
Absolutely. And each and every day is a blessing. For you as an artist, I've went through and I've listened to your music and I'm just like he has something to say. This is his story, bits and pieces. And that leads me to my next question that I wanted to ask you. Um, what is one belief or value that matters to you the most? Because your music, you have such range. And as an artist, and for actors out there, I've sat down with a lot of actors. It's all about having range. Like you've covered a many of number of topics in your music. So, what's one
them.
thing that stood out to you, or one belief or value that matters to you the most?
Authenticity, you know, being original. Uh, some of that's kind of cliche if you want to call it that, but a lot of people don't do that. So even it's hard for me, even though like you said, my range is huge. There's no genre that I don't pick up, and I'm like, I'm gonna just stay here. It's whatever I feel sometimes at the moment, or whatever kind of wave I want to go through. And also, it's just showing versatility. There's too much that can be picked up and that I can do. Why not use it instead of being put in a box? And like I said, authenticity. If you ain't original, it don't come off genuine.
Absolutely. And I know, don't eat me up for this, y'all. Your aura, just your aura, because I pick up off of auras of actors and artists. You remind me so much of one of my favorites, and that would be Prince. Prince did not
Mhm.
confine to what a label or, genre of music was. He just like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do a little bit of rock, I'm gonna do a little bit of hip hop. He played instruments as well too. And your aura is something about it. I can't put my finger on it. It's very mysterious. He was very mysterious as well too, because you never know what you were going to get with him. Like he
Yeah.
mixed funk, he mixed R&B, he mixed rock, all of these different genres, a little bit of
Mhm.
hip hop, all of that, and you do the same exact thing. So I had to throw that comparison in there because you both, may God rest his soul, but for you, you are carrying on. And I'm pretty sure he, speaking of Prince, who were some of your musical influences growing up?
Well, I'll pick up on that too. That's honestly an honor. I'll humble myself. I won't say that. I'll be in the greats of Prince. So, but I put him up there though. Uh, I can see that that's always been somebody I always looked at too, as far as uniqueness, and somebody I looked at, fighting with the point of Michael Jackson and him being on the same pinnacle. You know what I mean? Um, Almost being in the same chair. So those are definitely people who I grew up listening to. I feel like I was stuck in the middle between ages from the '90s kids and 2000s. So everything between that era is really what I grew up on as far as music wise. So you could say from Busta to all the way to like Tupac, all that probably mid '90s to early 2000s, what I all grew up on. So I'm kind of up there with the older generation as far as knowing a few things with the hip hop for sure. And then Wayne, I can sit here and go down the list as far as new rappers and stuff like that, but Wayne would probably be the person who I ran to, who I looked at as like, okay, I could do this, or anything really, just anything that I took it from looking at the way he took his uniqueness and did the skating thing, looking at the way that he drops, looking at the way that he recorded, looking at the way I paid attention to everything. It was almost like super fanning, but I was paying attention to it to like get the opticals from it, lessons from it, not just look at this dude do this. No, I'm looking at okay, this is how you do this then. Okay, all right, dude moving like this, like he ain't no time, spent. You know what I'm saying? He don't even write this shit down. He write this stuff down. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's a real good motion from what I was given from Wayne, no matter what nobody says. And like I said, that's top five dead or alive, regardless of what nobody want to say either.
Again, you have an eclectic ear like I have an eclectic ear. And shout outs to my girl Faith is the Substance. Y'all head on over and subscribe to her channel. And I sat down and I did an interview with her, as well as my brother K Toops. You guys can head on over and check that out. I don't know if she's still here. She says salutations and welcome, T Bishop.
Thank you, thank you.
And not only that, you've mentioned Lil Wayne. Like, these are artists from Prince to Michael Jackson. These were artists who not only, yes, they've sung the music and they, put it out there, of course, but they were behind the scenes, producing, engineering,
Hmm.
putting their own vocals, stacking them. When I was talking with the Zay Music, you guys can check out that interview as well. He was saying something about artists having to stack their vocals. So let's go to the women's side. As women, since it's Women's History Month, so I'm gonna always throw a woman in there. Mariah Carey,
Okay,
she's genius at
yeah, that's a
doing
perfect.
that.
That's a
She doesn't
perfect.
just write. What were you saying, T? I'm sorry.
No, that's a perfect example for sure.
Yes, and being able to, and you do a genius job at it too. Like I said, I've listened to your music, and the vocals, the production, the cadence. Those are key things. You really have a ear. I've heard a little guitar, and I pay attention to everything that goes on in the background of an artist's song. And you really have an ear for instruments. So I've heard an array of different instruments in the background of some of your music. So again, that range, kudos to you and hats off to you for just setting the tone. And I can really tell that you've studied Busta Rhymes and all of these other artists that you've named for Michael. They've really been an influence on you.
It's
And
it's a
that's one
plethora.
thing that they will keep on
It's a
doing.
plethora of
Go ahead and
artists
say,
that it's a plethora of artists that go through, and I can't just say one. Like you said, I got an eclectic ear, so it's like whatever like stands to it is whatever stands to it. And I also grew in a from one person being black and white and my mother being Puerto Rican. I grew up in a very multicultural household, so all the way to even Spanish music I listen to, you know. So it's a very much huge array that I got bombarded with at a young age, and I just took to it like glue. There was no stopping it. I used to dance in my room all the time. That's kind of where it started. Dancing in my room turned into music. So it's a huge range. I can never just say and singly, like I said, Wayne is probably the only person because like that's when I went to even lonely times, or that's when my dad played in the car consistently almost every other day. So that's the only reason why I use those type of examples. And like I said, Prince is a very good example. That's I got his album cover that I want to re-edition. So like you're hitting on the nail regardless. And Michael Jackson. Come on now, who don't like Mike?
that's a
But yeah.
no-brainer. I mean, like you can tell Michael has influenced you. Speaking of Michael, what was your very first performance that you saw of him that said, "Wow"? At a young age, because we both, I think, are both in the
uh
same age bracket. We both
I
90s
I
in the
looked up.
90s.
Yeah, I looked up and I'm actually probably yeah, I was in the 19 like late. So I was like 98. That's when I was born. But so like I said, I was at the edge of just like that's why I feel like I'm stuck in the middle of the 90s kids and the 2000s kids. But I'd probably say like the first thing that I actually looked up on my own, I think it was like a 1980s uh live that he did like on a show. Maybe it was Rock with You or something like that. So
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I
I
remember
think,
these. I remember these things. That's if it's a little pinnacle like that, like Michael. Like I remember the day he died. Me and my cousin, who was a Chris Brown and Michael Jackson fan, to the day she's done. Uh, she was braiding my hair, and then we just flicked on the news to that happening. So, it. it was, yeah, but things like that are all pushes for sure. And then also I want to piggyback because you said it was Women's History Month. Uh, Ari Lennox, who's a new artist.
Love her.
I'll take it back to Jill Scott, Mary J, um, Lil Kim. Um, I'll give Remy Ma her flowers. Nikki, I want to give her flowers, but she's tripping. Um, Beyonce, I'll give her flowers. Um, there's so many, there's plethora, and that's just like main. Those are just like main artists that you probably see on the billboards all the time. So I instantly say those type of things. There's plenty of other artists who who are on the women's side who kill it constantly, constantly. In the rap era, like rap era group, I say there's too much to count right there too. I couldn't even pick, to be honest.
It's so many.
Yeah,
It's
especially
it's
now.
so many female rappers out now. There's Meg. Y'all know I love Meg. There's Cardi. Love Cardi. Um, who's another? And they don't give her flowers enough. Tierra Whack.
Tierra
Another
Whack.
would be
I'll give Doja. I'll
yeah.
give Dochi. Dochi ran the
Love
whole.
Doja.
Dochi went right behind Kendrick and ran everybody, and then added an extra year like Kendrick did also. And promoted. Like she had. I was driving constantly in and back from Illinois to Iowa for my job at the time and last summer, and that's all I heard on the Sirius XM radio. You know what I'm saying? Is that one of the her main songs that's out that did the with the Will Smith and old girl from Fresh Prince when they did the little meme. So there's so many women who've been dominating, especially I say even for the last, yeah, I say same run as far as what the hip hop scene's been booming as 10 years. A lot of women been peaking up, even older artists, putting more weight to what these what they can actually put up with and hold and longevity in the actual career that we have to stand in this industry that's hard enough already, you know, especially for them.
And rap music is typically male dominated, but when I think of hip hop on the women's side, you guys seen the announcement today. Salt and Pepper, In Vogue, and TLC are
Hmm.
going on tour together. So it's all three women, all three groups of women. They're going on tour collectively, and they all have that staying power. Salt and Pepper,
I mean,
JJ Fed. Uh, I mean, it was
we
so
can take
many.
it back.
Roxanne Shante.
Yeah, we can take it back. Queen Latifah, MC Light,
Oh yeah.
like you said, Roxanne, like in which I ended up finding her out later in life because of the movie. So
It's so many. Like there's so many new artists that are coming out that are following in the footsteps after the women you just named, from the MC
oh,
Lights to the Yo-Yos, the Queen
hmm,
Latifahs, and all
the
others.
Brat,
So Lola Brooke, yeah.
yeah,
You
Lola
said
Brooke,
Brad? Oh
yeah,
yeah.
the Brat, Scarface. You know, if you want to get with the newer kind of like crowd, there's a couple other like even a lot of New York women on the east side been coming out really popping. Like you said, Lola Brooke and all that type of group style. Uh, from the hometown from Chicago, Dreezy
Oh yeah.
Venezy, and then there's I think there's another. And then we'll go on the singing side. You got Kalani, you got Janae,
You've
you
mentioned
know.
Ari already.
Yeah. I mentioned Ari Lennox for sure. That was one of the main people I for sure mentioned. She's definitely a genius. I don't know why her and Dreamville had a like the point of letting her go, but definitely a genius for sure. Beautiful voice.
I mean, you've got Ari, you've got Kaylani, you've got Tiana Taylor.
Hmm.
Who's another female artist that is singing out? SZA is that's a no brainer.
Yeah, that's a
SZA,
no brainer for
her.
sure.
Yeah. I mean, Coco Jones. It's so many that are out
Ooh, yeah,
currently right
Coco.
now. Yeah.
That's almost like a hit for me because she started off in the Disney like era, you know. So a lot of people grew up watching her, and then to see her probably rise in the way she did too, it's crazy.
And speaking of Rise, that was going to be my next question for you. You bet you've beat me to it. Since we're both, because you said you were born in '98, you were born the same year my brother was born.
Mhm.
I'm born in '93, so I'm a little bit ahead of you. If you could witness any historical event in music, which would you choose?
uh, Woodstock, or yeah, I think it was Woodstock when DMX performed.
Oh, may God rest his soul. Yes.
That'd probably be like one of the or uh great a Grateful Dead show, which is like not even hip hop. Um, the time that Prince went on stage with Mike, since we talked about them,
Oh yeah, I
and
remember.
they
I
did
know
their
which
little,
one. I
yeah,
know where he's gonna go.
yeah, and they did their little ish. That would have been cool to see in person. There's a lot of moments though, you know, for me personally. Like so, that, I don't know. There's a lot too much for me to even go off of because I don't even know. I would love to see Mac Miller before, like his last show before he passed away. Um, for some newer generation people out there, like I said, for the last 10 years, XX Tentacion, his last show with his whole squad and stuff like that at Rolling Loud, and then honestly, probably uh, then probably a Pac show. That'd be it. Those would be like my main like picks if I had to like pick for one. I'd grasp at any of those.
Man. I mean, we've lost so many music giants. You've mentioned Tupac, you got Notorious B.I.G., you got Eazy-E. I've seen pictures of them. People have created artwork of them together. I'm just like, wow, the musical trio. They've given us music, and we're still now in 2026. We're talking about the impact that they've had overall. So when you've mentioned Tupac, the first thing I can think of is Asata Shakur, his
Hmm.
mother, and how the just both of their impacts. You go back and you watch interviews. I was scrolling down randomly and I saw a clip of him, and I'm just like, wow, such talent, such a maestro when he picked up a pen. And a lot of people don't know this about Tupac, but he was an avid reader. I love to read a lot, but um,
He was a
someone who was
kid.
monitoring his page had a
He
stack
was
of
a
books.
kid. He was a kid who was regular, just like everybody else.
Yes.
And like at the end of the day, no matter what environment that you are in, even if you are in the most bottomless pit where it's just like everything is messed up, uh, we kind of all live by the same, go through the same things, live through the same morals, you know. So everybody really ain't that far of how they grew up. It's just the environment. So he and with him, what people don't want to understand and what the facade of the thug life thing that and what he turned everything into, he grew up militant. His parents were part of like the Black Panthers, and they had a lot
Yep.
going on as far as civil right wise. His mother was a very stand like almost general woman. She's militant. So anything less I wouldn't expect out of him. That's why he used those type of terms and moved against and spoke out the way he did because he had that influence already. And like I said, that's why he used. If you really listen to Pac's whole thing, his whole mantra, even through interviews and in his albums, he talks a lot about being an army, being a militia himself. So it's like you got to read through the lines sometimes.
The art of storytelling. And that's what I'm going to take you back because I don't know if you, this singer, if I drop her name, but she has a quote that says, the job of the artist is to reflect the times. And Tupac reflect that. That was Nina Simone who said that quote. And I think as an artist, for each and every one of us, I'm not a singer by any means, but hosting this platform here is allowing me to speak out on world issues, allowing me to speak the artist,
Hmm.
figure out their, stance on certain things. And that was going to be my next question for you, sis. We talk about Tupac. Tupac wanted change, and that's one of his songs. Things will never be the same. We want
Hmm.
change. We want something different. My next question was, if you could make one change in the world as an artist, what would that be?
Towards anything is a general, whatever, towards the world.
Yeah.
Man, I guess cliche. Another cliche answer: peace, because everybody
Oh
will.
yeah.
Peace, because if everybody had themselves to have inner peace, then you wouldn't really bother anybody else. That's as simple as I could put it. Like, if you had inner peace, then you really wouldn't bother nobody, because you would be worried about yourself. That's it. You have peace.
Yes.
You know what you got to do. You know what you need to do. Like, it's not everything's not planned out, but you are at peace for whatever's to come. You're at peace at next decision that you make, or whatever it may be. There's no overthinking. There's no really thought process. That's probably what I'd say, because everything else in between after that is where we have issues, killings, controversy, complications, mess ups, misinterpretations, because you didn't have peace, because you had to say something that you felt at the time. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Shout outs to my colleague Alvin, tit for tat, this and that. Welcome, Alvin. Shout outs to him. And you guys can check me out over there on his platform as well, too. We do panels from
Hmm.
time to time. And that leads me to my next question. What's one thing that you're proud of in your career and your journey as an artist?
Then I haven't stopped.
Yeah,
I could have quit a long time ago. I could have had a lot of issues that arise in in my personal life that could have stopped it, but I haven't stopped. And a lot of things that I've gotten towards is only because I didn't stop. And that's it. It's that simple. A lot of people sit there, or you'll hear a lot of even a couple big artists say that just don't quit. It's true. No matter how you look at the optics, no matter how you look at age, no matter how you look at what success is, if you reach it, some of that stuff's not even long term. So once you reach it, it's going to be there for short term regardless. So it's the matter of when you do it, and when you choose to pick yourself up and do it.
absolutely. What's a small thing that you intend to do that makes you feel loved? Because you've mentioned peace, and we all need that. We know that peace and self love starts within. And I talk a lot about self care here on my platform. So, what's one thing that you do that makes you feel loved as an individual, as an artist, as an entity, as everything?
Mm, Gratification in my own goals,
Yeah,
knowing that I can get things done myself, regardless of what the issue is or what it is. That's probably what brings me the most happiness. No matter, and it can go to the simplest things of not being late to a meeting. You know what I mean? It can be something as simple, or it could be something as a real goal. Those type of things because it's small things that matter. It's not the big things half the time. So if you can even take the small goals and the small initiatives, that can make you feel way much more, even like I said, loved, because you have peace. You have peace with that. You wouldn't have to expect nothing.
absolutely. 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 Welcome as you're just coming in. We are here with recording artist T Bishop Fashion Dolls. And we're just talking about goals and staying motivated if you're engaged in the conversation. Tap that like button and also hit that bell so you'll be notified when Style by Stevie goes live. Hit all, the first option, so you'll be able to catch everything because this replay will be up. This is a great conversation, and we're establishing some dialogues. I hope you all are engaged as well in the comments too, because we're going to take questions for T Bishop at the end of the show. We're going to do our games because you guys know we do our games. We're going to do some Women's History Month trivia, and then we're going to turn the tables. It's been a minute since we've turned the tables here on Style by Stevie. So T Bishop is going to be able to take over my show and ask me some questions. So y'all stay tuned for that. My heart is beating fast through this dress over here because I have no clue what he's going to ask me. But before we get to that, we were talking about passions, and you talk a lot about staying motivated. What keeps you motivated to keep going?
Like I said, the goal. A lot of this thing, a lot of things I say might intertwine to where a lot of, like I said, a lot of stuff is gonna make sense. It's goals. It's the matter of putting yourself. I won't say self first because yeah, you have to be selfish to get to where you really want to be because you got to sacrifice things. But like I said, goals. I can just put it simply as that: goals. Just getting to where you need to be. That's the only thing that won't stop it. Is getting to where you need to be. Once you stop doing, like I said, and if you go to a whole nother basis and switch, not even from music, you want to do something else, or you want to do this or do that. That's cool and all too, but like I said, it's a goal thing for me. I looked at every option I liked and would have thought for another path, and this is the only path that I always see that there's light at the tunnel. You know, no matter if it's hard or not, no matter if I haven't gotten there yet, or in no in whatever people's eyes, because I've done so much now that even if I don't make it to the a star succession, which that's just inevitable, I will. But
It's coming.
yeah,
It's
you
coming.
know,
You are well.
even if they feel it's not there, I've done so much to where I could tell my resume is there. It's just got to get bloomed out a little bit more, uh, get more reach, and then we'll be there. It's I only got one simple problem, and that's marketing myself and putting myself out there. Like you said, I'm mysterious and stuff. I got a shy issue. I'm been coming out the shell more, so it's we're getting there. Like you said, we getting
But
there.
listen, you know who else was shy, right? And it's two female artists. They were kind of shy and they were mysterious as well too. That would be, but when they got on stage and they performed, they came to life. And I think you know who I'm going to mention. That would be Aaliyah, may she
Hmm.
rest in grace,
And she
and
rest.
Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson, when she got on stage, she gives you an electrifying performance. But when you watch her interview, she's not really a talker like that. I mean, she does the interview, but she's very to herself.
She does
And
the
there are
interview
artists
like
out there who are
she does the interview like her
very
brother.
reserved. Yes. And you mentioned Lil Kim earlier. Lil Kim is the same way as well too, but she's gotten out of that. If you watched her back in the day, she said, my music is my music. A lot of people think she's like her music, but when you sit down with her, she's the complete opposite. So
Right.
you'll get out of that. It is going to work perfectly.
For sure, for sure. It ain't like I said, it's inevitable. If you keep pushing at something, it'll knock down sometime. Like I said, and then some people can sit there. Yeah, well, if you sit there forever, no. Like I said, if you actually put the work in, now if you're sitting there playing around trying to just push the boat, that's where you get into being like everybody else. You're only doing something to say you're doing something. You're not actually trying to do something about it. So,
And I'm going to add on to what you just said. Uh, you said earlier in the interview authenticity.
mhm,
As an artist, it's important, and then being an independent artist, it's important you find your identity so that you don't get, it's okay to be compared to somebody else, but find your identity as an artist and as a person and as a human being because we each all have to thrive. And I'm gonna use this as an example. Like my colleagues that are here in the comments, Alvin, tit for tat, this and that, he does the same thing that I do, and then my brother K Tukes. Each and every one of us collectively, whether it be any of them, my other colleagues as well, Bubs the God, Conscience, King Jobs, who's coming on Wednesday, all of them, they all collectively have their own personality. and their own authenticity about themselves. And that's what, as an artist, sets us aside from, the next artist and the next person. You know, Whitney didn't want to be like Mariah. Mariah didn't want to be like Whitney. She looked up to her. But everybody had their own lane and their own identity as an artist. And it's important that we separate that. What makes you different? And you have it. Your aura, like you said, that mystery, that aura, that let's peek behind behind the curtain. Let's get to know who he is and his music. But see, you have that gift because you're an artist and you're telling a story. It Artists have a way of connecting with the listeners. And one thing I want each and every one of you out here to know is that when you are writing your music and you're giving it to us, the listeners, you're writing us a letter and you're letting us into your life, your thoughts, whatever it is that you're feeling. You fell out of love, you're in a new space in your life. You're letting us know all of these things. So that's where that connection and that bond between the listener and the artist come together because Dave would have been through the similar situation that you've been through. So keep doing what you're doing. Yes, he will be here Wednesday. Yes, brother is coming. He'll be here Wednesday. King Jobs will be joining me, and that's going to be a great interview. So it'll be great to finally sit down because I have been on his panel over there on his platform as well too. So you guys can check him out here. Individuality and authenticity is key, right? Find your personality, find your style of doing music, so they know your name and they know your name. Um,
Exactly.
and it's so
Exactly.
many others that are following right along in your path as well too that are doing the same thing that you're doing, and they're finding out who they are as an artist because that, believe it or not, that was a struggle for some of the biggest artists that we know today. uh Whitney Houston, it's like, okay, is she black enough? When she crossed over and when she first came
Yep.
out, it was love ballads. And then when she crossed over in the late 80s, I want to say, it became more pop. she
Yep.
she
And started
broke the
hitting
mold so
ranges.
that, yes, black artists, her, Prince, all of them could be played, Michael Jackson, all of them. It's like, how do we categorize it? And that's where we go back to the conversation about being put in a box. And it's just like, no, I can do this genre of music. I can do this genre of music and this genre of music. And I cannot stay right here in this lane. I want to go and touch all of the check marks. So you do that in your music, believe it or not. So you're doing a fantastic job. Keep doing what you're doing and continue to be original. Stick to you. It's
I
hard
appreciate
sometimes,
that.
trust me, I know. And then being independent, you're having to fund for any independent artist, you're having to fund this out of your own pockets. Now, if you're under a label, it's different. That's a whole different conversation. But being an independent artist, what I love about it is you have full range and creative control over what
Hmm.
you want to put to the masses out here. But yeah,
And like I said, it's so much. There's so much situational things that you can do. Yes, technology has fast forward so much, but you just have J. Cole who went on a trunk spree selling out CDs. You know what I'm saying? Putting out the location on Twitter. Get to it how you gonna get to it. It's the matter of getting to the actual movement of putting motion. It's that simple, and a lot of people don't want to look at it like that. They put a few posts up and put a few songs out and call it a day, and that's most artists. No matter if you have a song that popped off at a million, even you only had one song. You know, a lot of people don't want to actually endure what artistry is, and I'm not exactly like you said. The genres are so wide, and I don't consider myself. I consider myself an MC for sure. I won't sit there and defy who where I settled at in hip hop, but I'm also a true artist. I don't range out. So I don't know.
you don't put yourself in a box. And that's what makes you so different and so unique. And I'm so grateful for my girl, Stephanie. I'm just like, I knew we would click and hit off instantly. I'm like, okay, I don't know if he's gonna hate me or like me, but we both have an ear for music. So I said, Lord Jesus, fix it. Let this be a great conversation. And it is because we both have that in common, which is, when you're passionate about your creativity and
Hmm.
creative, whether you're I'm in the fashion world. T Bishop is in the music world. And they both can collide because they're both a form of art.
Yep.
And the difference is that we each have, our differences that sets us aside from each other as artists. Hi, Chrissy. Welcome, baby. Welcome
Well,
to the Dollhouse.
and
We are
like you were
here with T
saying,
Bishop. Yeah, go ahead.
with
I'm sorry.
no, you're fine. As I was saying, even what you said with the acting stuff, ASAP Rocky just came out with a album, and Tim Burton did all his artwork. Tim Burton did all his art. You know how that hasn't even been done. I can't even like compare it to anything else for real. You had a real life, one of the best animators in my opinion, in my full opinion, film directors, whatever you want to call it, do a hip hop album cover for you and made characters in a slow animation for. Come on now, it's part of everything. That's actually showing that you're not a culture vulture, in my opinion. You actually know what you're doing when you get a hold of these things. You don't just look at it and then bop off a sound, and then unless you're from there, like I give a lot of southern states, even west coast, like with the west coast, east coast, uh I feel like are so dual, like they can just go out and do a lot of things. But from the sound wise, from west coast and even the south, I get why they would rep that type of sound regardless. But like I said, it's just a matter of ranging yourself out and putting yourself to a different type of realm. That you really, will you want to be a superstar, or do you want to just range out and get money? That's kind of what it ends up coming down to. Do you want to be a superstar and actually roam and take over, and what the cliche thing is, run hip hop, or you fill out a lane and you control it? Anything else in between is what everybody else gets caught up on. No matter if it's a somebody like trying to come up like me, or somebody who's got too much money and they don't want to feed the culture no more, or you know. So, and like I said, if you're not doing things like what Chance did with shout out Chance the Rapper, what he did with his album, and then showing actual love back to the city, and then putting the city
Yep.
actually back, like that's culture. That's actually using the culture to your advantage. It's not, and then using it from where you're at also. That's more pluses on the card, if you want to call it. So I look at a lot of things. I'm a student to the game. I'm not just a here to be doing things. I'm a real student to the game ever since I picked up a CD and put it in the CD player.
You've studied this, and that's what you have to do in order to get into business. My brother, K Tooks, sat down with Taj from the girl group SWV.
Hmm.
And one thing she said in that interview that was asked to her, someone asked in the audience, uh, what do I do to succeed and excel in the music business? She said, know your business, know how it works like the back of your hand, understand that, the ins and outs, read over your contracts, understand marketing, understand all of these things, study the game. That's basically what she meant. So I say it all the time. Make sure that you are aligning yourself with people who know the business, and that you do. So kudos to you. And my girl Stephanie, hats off to her as well too. I can't stop giving her flowers because she understands how the business work, and then being able to balance it out because you have to. You've mentioned acting and ASAP Rocky. If you're an artist in this business, you have to be able to wear those multiple hats. Again, another producer and engineer, Missy Elliott. And I feel
Perfect
like
example too.
Missy doesn't
Yeah.
get her, yes, she doesn't get her flowers enough. Missy has written, she's penned, she's produced, she's done all of these things, but she
She
doesn't get her
ran
flowers.
she ran she ran R&B and mid female rap street, like
Yes.
rapper scene, I'd say, from the you can even go back into the middle 90s when she was doing her things with Timbaland in Virginia. Um, yeah, I know that story too. You know what I'm saying? Like I know her backstory too. So it's like probably late 90s, early 2000s, even when she was writing, when she was
Oh
in the
yeah.
trash bag video. You know what
Ah,
I'm
the
talking about?
rain. Yes.
Yeah, the
Yes.
I can feel the rain. Yeah, that she was deep in her bag with writing songs. There's a couple of Leah songs that's Missy songs, real life. So that's why I said perfect example. That's such a perfect example, and she doesn't get her flowers. I mean, she's gotten her the culture did at the little hip hop awards are one of the times throughout the last I'd say 10 15 years they did that for her, but she don't get it enough. And she still runs it. She still runs it. She just made another run I think a couple years ago too. Like just popped out the woodwork for no reason.
And that's because she studied the business, the game. You yourself. Yes, Miss Stevie, I was thinking of Jessica Rabbit and Veronica Lake. Look, you
Mhm.
are serving. Thank you. That's exactly what I was going for. Shout outs to Alvin. He always teases me. He calls me the Jessica Rabbit of the group. So I said, you know what? Let's channel Jessica Rabbit today, the Veronica Lake today. I wanted something more different. But who knows what I look like tomorrow? But yes, we were talking about producing and engineering, writing, being an artist, and an independent artist at that. It's not easy because, see, if you're backed by a label, they can easily go on ahead and they can cut the check and they can pay for it all. But if you are
Right.
an independent artist, you're having to dive deep within your own pockets and fund it. It's not easy. It's not easy, but it is so worth it because I want my vision to come to life. And almost every single, because I've watched a few of your videos, and I'm just like, okay, the sound is different. It's mysterious. It's all of these things. And you can tell that he really, really deeply was involved in the entire creative process. Being an independent artist, that's the beauty of it. You're involved in the creative process. Style by Stevie, and I'm putting it out here on the table. I'm not backed by a big corporation or anything. Fashions, hair, makeup. Of course, I got my makeup artist and my beauty contributor, and then my team behind me, my mom and my cousin. That's all I need. So you create yourself a team of people behind you, and I'm thankful for these three women: Melanie, my mom, and then my cousin who came on the show a few weeks back, Sherry. She is co-owner of Style by Stevie. So I'm like, create yourself a group of people that you truly, genuinely trust. It doesn't have to be a large circle and keep the energy going, you know? Uh-oh, I think his phone might have died. All right, can y'all see me? Can y'all hear me? I think YouTube is acting up. If not, then what I'm going to do is start a new live because I can't see him. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, let me see, let me shoot a message. Because we were leading up to do our Women's History Month trivia, and then we were going to turn those tables. So give me one sec. So I'm gonna come back. Oh, he's froze. Okay, I'm gonna start a new live. You guys can see me. Y'all can, yes, get into the glam, get into the glam, get into everything. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna start a new live. This will be part two with our music trivia, and then we're gonna do the turn the tables segment. All right. So we're gonna be right back, fashion dolls, and I'll see y'all then.